Hello again. It's great to be again online. So we are having another amazing story to convey and discuss. So I hope that you had an amazing second day of Swift Money. And now we'll discuss the fintech plus insurance part of the hero topics that you are discussing over the last 2 days. So for those who haven't met me yesterday, my name is Lukasz Foks. I'm leading the startup strategy at Microsoft Central and Eastern Europe. And I'm focused on key partnerships that we set mainly on the marketing side, but also with amazing communities like Shift. But we are having another hero today. And with me, I have Toddy from FinTech OS, our partner, ex-employee, and also the director of the ecosystem development and sales, literally at that company. So Toddy, maybe you would introduce yourself and we'll chat a little bit about what we do and what's the story of FinTech OS and how we work together so far.
Well, thanks Lukasz, and thanks everyone for taking the time to participate in this fireside chat. I'm Toddy. I'm with FinTech OS for more than 1 year now. I've been with Microsoft some 17 years before, and I'm very happy to be part of FinTech OS to lead the ecosystem development and sales. FinTech OS is a company now in its 4th year. We are technically a scale-up. We started with the vision that we can change the way customers, consumers, businesses access and make use of financial services, and we do that through an amazing technology that we call FinTech OS, that starts with the customer in mind and drives transformation across financial services, banking, insurance, and other verticals. And we do it on Azure. And partners play an important role as part of that, Microsoft being one of the strategic partnerships that we rely on in order for us to make very good use, not just of the technology, but also of the go-to-market and co-selling capabilities that Microsoft has for startups.
Great. And among the audience, we are having probably like 2 types of companies. So the startups, fintechs who want to literally disrupt the world, and I feel they might use a couple of puzzles that you offer. And also we are having simple enterprise companies like banks. So what kind of value prop you offer for both of those personas? Either feel free to start with those, which are your fab ones.
Well, let me start with our true customers in the audience. Meaning established or newcomers, financial services players, either banks or insurance or other emerging financial services players. And for sure, I'd like to save some good, thoughts about other startups in the audience that are looking maybe for some lessons learned from some best practices that we can share from this experience working with you. So first of all, for the customers, for the financial services customers in the audience, think about FinTech OS as being essentially a digital banking or a digital insurance solution. We are creating effectively a new product category which combines low-code capabilities with expertise and focus on financial services. So we do have a platform on top of which we do create at speed customer journeys, and think of them as the most popular journeys that we have to build these days. A digital onboarding journey. With COVID, we simply saw that demand exploding across Europe where we activate, but not just onboarding. Think about once you do have a customer that is enrolled online, you'd like to provide products and services to that customer. You'd like to increase the overall interaction with the customer groups and so on. So therefore, FinTech OS can be used to provide various banking and insurance products like loans, mortgages, insurance products, and not just the front end, which is about serving the customer, but also the back end, which is how do you administer, how do you service those particular products that you sell. So essentially, in this world in which transformation happens at speed in financial services, in banks and in insurance companies, FinTech OS provides a way for you to have your North Star focused on the customer, being able to create at speed those journeys that enhance the experience, that delight your customers. Whereas having a couple of options to build on top of your legacy systems or to effectively transform those legacy systems as well with FintechWise. It really depends on your strategy and on your state of transformation. We are, as I said, we are in our 4th year of existence. We do partner with former 50 financial services customers. Many of them are well-known banks and insurance companies in Central Eastern Europe. Let me just give you some examples: Societe Generale, Erste Group, Vienna Insurance Group, Hyperion, Raiffeisen Group, Raiffeisen International, and so on and so forth. So a large number of customers, and many of them have a very good representation also in Croatia, Adriatic markets, and so on and so forth. So this would be, the overall positioning and value proposition for our customers. Now, what do they get? Because you might say the market is quite crowded. There are so many technology and solution providers aiming at transforming the business of a bank or an insurance, and we welcome very much this. We typically see benefits in terms of overall time to value, meaning how fast you are able to deploy a new customer journey and be there to serve your customers. We typically slash the development times by 3 to 5 times as a result of having a low-code platform on top of which we're building those journeys. We welcome not just developers, but professionals in other areas like UI, product management, business analysis, and so on, so that we really have a true teamwork on producing those solutions, and also reducing the overall cost of building and operating the solution. So and then it's the flexibility that we provide that you might say to some extent is particular to us being a scale-up, but also flexibility that's powered by the technology choices that we make, being able to run on Azure or to run on other setups that the clients prefer. And we do have quite a good distribution of customers that run the day on Azure. And you might say, well, financial services in Eastern Europe running important business workflows on Azure. I can say yes, we are the living proof, and we have so many customers that enjoy that, not just for the technology sake, but the security and compliance guarantees that we can bring to the table as well.
Perfect. And you mentioned like the chats with customers. I remember that literally in the last 2 years, many CXOs of biggest banks are saying, bring me the innovation in the open banking space. Then that conversation is quite long. So literally they want to see what's really at the back end. They want to, at the end, do some POCs, integrate with some background APIs. At the end, what was your favorite case? What's your learning after working with your customers? I mean, could you please bring some practices also to the others?
Well, I think in today's world, customers really want to see the outcomes. The fastest that's possible, the better, and the more trust you can actually create between you and the partners and the customers. I would say for us, a very important organization within FintechWise is what we call Demo Factory. This is essentially a team of people that build journeys, build solutions that can be demonstrated. So imagine we are preparing a pitch for a client that happens in 2 weeks. We typically engage into producing a tailored, personalized demo for that client. So it does not feel like yet another PowerPoint brief or yet another demo that you prepared for, a customer that shares limited, similarities with me as a client. So the ability to demo, not fully fledged solutions, but to have a strong point in terms of how do you personalize, how do you automate. These are key attributes when ensuring a customer experience these days. Those are very, very important elements for the business, and that's an advice that I'd have for, if I may share an advice, for companies that are in similar development stages like us. It's very important to have that ability to demonstrate, to prove your point at any point in time.
Great, and I've seen in the agenda like some talks regarding the future of fintech, and again to be a little bit nostalgic, I remember the hashtag PSD2. Every startup is saying, "Oh, we are addressing PSD2. That's the opportunity. We want to be there." But we are living in online only, I feel, world nowadays. That's literally even we are connecting to the Foks from Swift Money through the web. So how do you see, the current days from the opportunities point of view? What would be the interesting trend that you would see as key one for fintech/insurance solutions?
So we saw definitely the focus on the customer. And I remember my times at Microsoft as well. We were opening all of those customer presentations with mega trends, mega technology trends, how cloud and mobile are changing, anything. I think our narrative at FintechOS is the disrupting factor for businesses out there is the client. The client who has, increased expectations in terms of how that product or service look like, how fast you are able to anticipate my needs. Where do I find you? How do I interact with you as a bank, insurance, or other type of a telco or a retailer? Why do I have limitations on having a loan accessed right at the moment when I want to purchase something? Why do I need to go to a bank, engage on a different channel, and then come back a few days later? So we see that customer with crazy demands that is actually the disrupting factor here. And then you see customers that are really embracing technology to really implement solutions to meet those needs. So for instance, you might say the idea of providing a digital onboarding, that's quite old, yeah? Then how come we witness something like dozens of such projects as we speak in Central Eastern Europe? It is an idea that was out there for a number of reasons, but banks simply or customers simply postponed, either because there was no regulation about it or the demand was not there. Things are happening now at a crazy speed. And then you think about the intersection of multiple verticals. So for instance, we do help many retailers to provide loan origination type of solutions or lending type of products to their customers online through their stores, online stores, or in store, in physical stores, powering, based on FintechOS and connecting through a network of financial services providers. Yet again, that was not so visible before, but that's truly changing the overall experience. So with the customer in mind, and with the COVID context, which is all about we have to be where our clients are, and many of them, or most of them, or most of the times they are online. That's something that shapes really the budgets where customers invest money, how they plan 2021, and also the planning, the roadmaps, the technology, the product roadmaps of solution providers like us.
All right. And we had another fireside chat yesterday where we discussed with one of the blockchain startups our partnerships. And I got a very simple question after the session over LinkedIn. All right, so how I could collab with Microsoft. And I know that your journey been quite interesting, and it went beyond the startup program. Also, you work with many partners in your previous role when you've been at Microsoft. So how the partnership went for you. I mean, what kind of steps you've taken to be featured, for example, in Azure Marketplace to reach our customers. And tell the truth, you know, you've been on another side, so imagine that startup is asking you, what's the advantage of collaborating with Microsoft? I know it's slightly different than, for example, with the bank, because we are rather supporter, someone who's providing the technology, but I'm super curious what kind of thoughts you have after those few years from the fintech point of view as a company.
Well, let me start with this. As a technology company, you have to make some technology choices when you start. Yeah, FintechOS started on a Microsoft technology stack. It started a couple of years back with on .NET, on SQL, on Windows. So essentially, we were a Microsoft shop from this perspective. But you know, cloud changes a lot this environment, and I think it's even in the case of Azure that most of the VMs that are hosted out there are not necessarily Windows, are Linux-based VMs. But certainly there was some compatibility, technology compatibility, the skill set within the organization, the engineering team that preferred a Microsoft ecosystem, and Azure seemed to be the natural cloud to be adopted. Now, from an engineering standpoint, we have updated our solutions to make the most of Microsoft Azure as a cloud platform, to make sure that we do provide those technical elements like elasticity, but also to meet economic outcomes, running on serverless infrastructures, being there to provide elasticity in terms of serving demand and so on. So we had to go through that journey to revise our technology and to make sure that we are investing into understanding cloud, investing into a cloud operation team, and so on. And that's something not to be underestimated, whatever the cloud choice there is out there for a startup and so on. That's something that changes not just your product, but the way you operate, the way you serve your customers. And I'm happy that we took that path. And the more we took it, the more we realized the opportunities ahead. So now we are providing managed services on top of Microsoft Azure. So not just providing a solution that's powered and it's managed and it's deployed through a platform as a service model, but essentially us providing a full SaaS managed solution for many of the clients, especially in those commoditized areas. Now, as part of a technical journey, when you are visible enough and you are providing enough benefits also for Microsoft in a partnership, in a true partnership, you get to have colleagues that are allocated to that relationship, solution architects, go-to-market professionals, and so on. You don't take as granted those resources. You typically have to raise yourself as a partner in that ecosystem to benefit from this. And I'm happy with the Microsoft team that's allocated for Microsoft, not just in Bucharest, where we started from, but across the markets where we penetrate the markets and we have co-sell relationships. Then partnership means win-win. For FintechOS, this partnership meant a substantial investment from Microsoft side for us to make use of Azure credits that had a boost impact on the way that we thought about Azure, used Azure, and provided Azure-based solutions forward to the clients. And something that we really appreciated with Microsoft was an extended support with those Azure credits during the COVID situation in the past 6 months. So that was an incredible effort, and we thank once again for that. In the other side, we had to, at all the time, to maintain our business case as solid as possible for Microsoft. So colleagues at Microsoft really look at how you make use of Azure, like artificial intelligence, to impact the business of your clients. So genuinely, people at Microsoft care about that. They also like to be in a co-sell motion, meaning if I have a pipeline and I can share it with you, so we work together on building together a business case, even if I'm the small one, 2 years old in the market, and you are the technology mega vendor, that's very possible, and we are learning it not just in our home country, but as we expand throughout Europe. So the more co-sell experiences, the more go-to-market activities, the more successful joint wins we have, the stronger the partnership is on the other end. Experiencing the technology, influencing the roadmap, and so on. So that's what I would say a win-win. Being at Microsoft, I know what are some of those things to insist on, but I think they are so common sense, so you don't really need that background. You just need to have a true partnership mindset, and I think all of the other things just happen afterwards.
Perfect, thank you, Todi. And as we have still like 90 seconds, I will ask then where I could find more about FinTech OS from the attendee point of view. Where should I go? Well,
we have an amazing marketing team. I think start with our website and engage with us on LinkedIn. If you need a demo, if you need to engage any of our teams, either commercial or either product, we'll be more than happy to get in touch with you.
Perfect. And in case you want to learn more from the startup point of view, how to, for example, integrate with our Azure Marketplace, we are having that Microsoft Learn for Startups platform where we could spend 30 minutes and a little bit an expert in that particular opportunity. We are looking for IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS startups who will be there. Join also Microsoft Partner Network, where we are regularly hosting the webinars. And our Marketplace team is hosting, as far as I remember, weekly calls where you could ask your questions and literally see what will be the path towards your journey, like Todi shared for FinTech OS. And with that, really, thank you for joining, Todi. Thank you all for listening. Have the good rest of the afternoon and the rest of the agenda. And yes, stay safe and feel free to ask us via azure.com in case you have any questions. And of
course, you.
Thanks. Have a good one. Cheers.
Ciao.